Since in this country, the single largest number of people are Hindi speaking, some working knowledge of Hindi is always helpful. That kind of answer you should give so that you are not viewed as absolute rigid South, because then again you will be opinionated. Remember, I think learning one more Indian language is helpful in communication, in reaching out. If one learns Hindi, it's always helpful. So don't say that yes, Hindi must be learned. It's not say. You say it's always helpful. Unless you are a Hindi chauvinist that you say, no, Hindi should be there. Then of course, it is the choice is yours. But I think it's good enough you take a balanced position that yes, we must learn one more Indian languages. It is helpful. Any current affairs question you have?
Sir, in my interview, there was a question on...
You guys all seem to be quite experienced, right? You had already faced some interview. Yes, speak up.
Sir, after the interview is over, they are asking to rate the board.
Rate the board.
Should we humbly reject it or what should be done?
Do they ask nowadays to rate the board? Is it so? No, if they ask you to, suppose if they ask, because after all, they are at liberty to ask any question. They will say, if I say night, what do you say? The choice is here. They can ask any question. If they ask you to rate, I say it's wonderful, sir. I mean, it's a privilege to such senior people. I mean, how often do we get opportunity to see so highly placed people like you people, sir? So I feel fortunate to be here. And with that, when somebody says, if you like, have something more, if they ask you, that means they are pulling your leg. That's all. No. If they are pulling your leg, then you politely say, sir, I am here, I am just a student. I like to, because any word of wisdom coming from me is something good for me. I think this kind of question, you just smile. You don't have to respond even. If they ask you that, if you like to say anything, please. If such a question is asked, then they are pulling your leg. You just give a smile. I say, sir, I am here to be interviewed, sir. So I mean, you are the one who have to ask the question. Maybe one day when I get selected, with your grace, I get selected, I sit on the board, I will also ask questions. But today, simply, I am here to be interviewed. I stand on Sabrimala issue. Look, Sabrimala issue is, one, you have to strike a balance. One is a Supreme Court position. Second is a culture and tradition. Similar thing happened in Jallikattu. Jallikattu, there was a massive outrage. So the government of India came with an ordinance nullifying the Supreme Court order. In Sabrimala case, government has not done that. But nevertheless, it is a cultural issue. You say, sir, I think when it comes to the issue of culture and tradition, it is, in my understanding, it's better if it is not harmful to any, then it should not be interfered with as far as possible. As far as possible, it is because a right to equality, all these things are recent concept. This country or society does not live by constitution. Constitution is a regulatory body. Society lives by its own norms, its own sense of right and wrong, its own tradition, its own values. If those traditions and values are being questioned on constitutional principles, if it is harmful to some, yes. Like somebody says that no, child marriage, it will be there. We know that it is harmful to the child. Child is not of an age where he or she can take a decision. Why are you forcing? No, it must, if it's a system, it has to be stopped. But going to a place of worship, where for long time people have been going, certain set of people have not been going. to say that right of equality applies and it should be allowed, I think, sir, this is affecting the sentiment. It is those who are devotees. Temple is a place for devotee. A devotee of Ayyappa will go by what has been the injunction. An activist will say, no, I will go. A temple is not a place for activists. At the same time, suppose if there is a temple where suppose Dalits are not allowed. No, this is not acceptable. Because this God is not only of one caste. The God is of all. This deity. So, this preventing Dalits entry into temple, this is not acceptable. They must be permitted. They must go. But if by tradition, people have not, and even after the Supreme Court thing, if you look at Supreme Court order came a few years back, but women have not been, certain cases women have not been going because a devotee would like to go with devotion, not with a sense of entitlement and right. Understand? So I think your position should be, sir, in matter of tradition and culture, if so long it is not harmful to anyone, I think as far as possible it should not be disturbed. It should not be interfered with. That's all.
So what stand do we need to take in case of...
Look, yeah, if the question is asked, and suppose it can be asked, again it is Tamil Nadu, it is a very sensitive. The Hindu temples being controlled by the government. I think there, my advice, because you as a civil servant aspirants, you must be conscious of the fact that you should not behave like an activist. Understand? There your answer should be, sir, I think there is an act of the state legislature, validity of which has been upheld by the Supreme Court also. So it is being administered. However, there is also a demand that temples management should not be in the hand of this. So they also have a point, and there is some agitation campaign going on to take the temple away from the government. Now I am sure in due course some way will be found out. There could be some issue of management, mismanagement, but I think, sir, this is right now. You should not take a position, no, government must be out. I mean, that's not, you are not being an activist. Remember it, mind it. There is an act. Act has not been held unconstitutional. So the act is valid. There is a department, is working. I may not like that. That doesn't mean that you have to take a position. No, I don't like it. Your position should be, sir, I think there is an act has got it's constitutionally valid. There is a department which looks into it. However, there are issues and cases have gone up to the High Court. Madras also has pointed out so many deficiencies. I think the competent authorities should look into that. With that, you stop that. Don't take a position ki, yes, temple must be liberated. You are not here a temple activist, okay? You are going as a civil servant, aspirant. Yes.
Why are people from Tamil Nadu always protesting for everything? Jallikattu protest, Kodangulam protest, methane hydrocarbon protest. And he was like, what is wrong with the people of Tamil Nadu? That was the question asked.
No, if a question like this is asked, why are people of Tamil Nadu always protesting Jallikattu, Kodangulam, then something will say language. What is wrong with the people of Tamil Nadu? Now we should realize that this is a question, mischievous question to provoke you. Understand? So this is again testing your personality. It's not, your smartness lies in not getting provoked. I would say, sir, agitation have been happening all over the country, but It's not that maybe people of Tamil Nadu, they are more emotional to do it, but I think, sir, by and large, protest agitations in Tamil Nadu has been subject to law regulations. So, as far as I am concerned, I don't see anything wrong in Tamil Nadu. With a smile, you say, I don't see anything wrong with the people of Tamil Nadu, because I think, like any other part of the country, people of Tamil Nadu also enjoy certain rights, constitutional rights, and they are as much agitations as in a democratic society is a part of our life. Now, a question like this, it can be a trap, it can be tricky. You should not get agitated and defensive. No, Tamil Nadu people are very law-abiding, very simple people. No, they are nothing. You politely say, just first you smile. First you smile and say that I think agitations is a part of democratic life, and everywhere it has been going on, and people of Tamil Nadu also. But I think by and large, maybe if cases of violent strikes have happened, agitations happens all over the country. Some places, by and large, agitations are within the ambits of law. And I don't think anything wrong with the people of Tamil Nadu. To me, it doesn't look anything wrong. Put it this way. To me, it doesn't look anything. Then your answer should be, sir, I don't think, sir, you should, because I don't think I see anything wrong with the people of Tamil Nadu, because people of Tamil Nadu agitate like anywhere people agitate. Anywhere people, I mean, you don't have to start giving the counter that, look, there are a lot of agitation, farmer agitation, Jat agitation, Khap agitation, all kind of agitation are going on all over the country. You don't have to get into just with a smile, because you should realize that this is a question to provoke you, to make you, to expose the real you within you. That, okay, as a Tamil, you will feel bad about it. This man is saying, what is wrong with Tamil Nadu? What is this?
But the function would be more efficient, and the other person, the efficiency would be reduced. If the efficiency is reduced, naturally there will be a sense of discomfort with the people. So tell me a practical approach. Would you select the corrupted person or not corrupted person, sir?
No, if a question like this is asked, whether there is a corrupt guy who is efficient, there is an honest guy who is inefficient. So basically, your answer should be, please sit down. Your answer should be that, sir, corruption to make oneself efficient, it shouldn't be the criteria. Because the person is efficient or no efficient, it also depends on leadership. If you have to choose a person, the person is expected to be under your leadership to work, right? You can make a person efficient by proper guidance. But if a person is corrupt, then corrupt means you are compromising the value, basic value. So your response should be, my advice should be, that, sir, a corruption-driven efficiency is not acceptable. A less efficient person who is honest, I can make the person more efficient. It depends on the leadership, and I will try to make him more efficient. But certainly, if somebody who comes with a corrupt background, and I knowing fully well that this man is a corrupt, and that is why I keep him in my system, I will only encourage corruption. A corruption-driven efficiency is not acceptable.
There are two people. One is you and another person. You are given a chance, you should shoot that person or kill yourself. What should you do? So the question asked.
No, sir, you just smile at that. You don't have, such questions need not be responded. I say, sir, I think we will be friends. I don't have to be under compulsion. He is my friend. He is whom we are here. There is no question of either killing myself or shooting him. An option given that you have only to shoot or shoot him or shoot yourself. You don't have to accept that. You say, no, I don't accept it, sir. We will be friends. We will be dear friends for life. No, these are essentially the questions which are essentially to put you. It is also to find out, whether you are thinking only in terms of the limitations given to you, or you also think something more. Now tell me question. Question is put to you, real life. Will you do that? You will not do that. So why should I? You must take it into the real life perspective. Okay?
How do we improve India-China relations given the India-China relations given the frequent border clashes that keep happening, and on the other hand we have a huge trade deficit with them, so huge trade dependency. So
Okay.
what should be our point of action? And
No, if a question is asked, first of all, a question may be asked, now that you guys have not asked, but let me now put it. Question will be asked about, suppose India's foreign policy, suppose about some issue is asked. I am asking you I am telling you a broad, but a question can come India, China, India, Pakistan, India, Israel, India, Middle East, India, Europe, India, Ukraine, India, Russia. But core thing is India's foreign policy. Now, India's foreign policy is based on India's national interest and India's national values. Earlier there used to be principle of, let's say, non-alignment. We are not aligned, we are not. These were externally conceived ideas. Our foreign policy today, after this government has come, this Prime Minister has come, is our national interest, our national values. If anything that harms the national interest is not acceptable to us. If anything that serves our national interest, it is acceptable to us. And at the same time, it's our national values. National values are no Constitution of India. Constitution is a document. National values, if you put it succinctly, what is your national values? Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We treat the world as a family. That is why even in the pandemic, when the rich countries, when they made the vaccine, they started pricing up the vaccine. We gave free vaccine to more than 150 countries. We had our own needs, but we shared. Because we believe in sharing and the grief of others. This is our national value. Pandemic is an example. So national interest and national values. So when it comes to China, China tries to occupy our land, no compromise. Because it is a zero tolerance to loss of territory. We don't. And that is why we see the tensions on the border. And you see it happens. And it will continue happening for some more years to come. Some kind of armed coexistence will be there, but you cannot avoid, you cannot escape it. Because all these years we tried to maintain friendly relations, ignoring China's belligerence, but China, it kept encouraging Chinese. Now our policy is we will not lose. We are not. So, our foreign policy is based on national interest, India's national interest and India's national value. Now, that has reflected even in our Middle East relation. Earlier, our relation with Israel was subdued, our relation with Middle East was also subdued, because we were always confused whether our going close to Israel, will it be liked by our people here, our Muslim friends, brothers and sisters? Unnecessary thought. If we have oil from oil from Middle East, we have to get oil. We have got about 7 million Indian diaspora, they are living in Middle East, working in Middle East. They contribute such a large number of foreign exchange. We have interest in the Middle East. At the same time, we have interest with Israel. So we decoupled the two. Our relation with the Middle East is not linked with the relation with Israel. It is India's national interest. And so we have, as a result, we have the best of relations with the Middle East today, and we have the best of relations with Israel. Before this Prime Minister, no Prime Minister visited Israel thinking that if you go to Israel, what the Palestine will issue until this Palestine has come, then we cannot. He says no, the two are separate. While we respect the two-state theory that Palestine has a right to exist and there must be a separate state for Palestine, but we are close to Israel in our relation, our national interest. When it comes to US, we have relations, but we don't follow whatever everything they do. There are many areas. The US did not want us to buy oil from Russia. We say no, we will buy. It is our national interest. After all, we have to buy oil, and Russia is giving us oil at a reasonable price. Why don't we buy it? We'll buy it. So our foreign policy are guided by two basic pillars: our national interest and our national values. National values are Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We like to treat the family. You will be asked a question or G20 about China. China position is clear. China has been belligerent. Now we have to stand our ground. We are standing our ground. We'll have the country. It is not an either-or situation. While we continue to maintain an economic relation, trade relations, our bilateral trade has increased over the years. It has grown over $100 billion. But that doesn't mean that our border issue is resolved. On the issue of terrorism, China has not been helping India. China has been working against India with Pakistan. So we know we do a relationship, do business with a country based on real issues. On the issue of territorial issues, on the issue of terrorism, on the issue of our national interest, we know that China is our adversary and we deal with them. When it comes to the trade relation goes on. It is not that, okay, you are a 100% enemy or 100% friend. There's nothing like that in international relation. In Russia-Ukraine war, many countries, they thought we should take side. We say no. We say violence, war is not an answer. It must be peaceful. We told Russia, we told Ukraine. Both of them, they listened. Today, the world expects India to play a role. When we had to evacuate our people, our nationals in Ukraine, we asked Russia and Ukraine to stop the war. They stopped the war, gave us the window, we evacuated our people. So, our relation is multi-alignment, based on our national interests and national values, not on some hypothetical idealistic position, no. We based on real life, real situations. So this is where our foreign policy is. Now G20 is another area, question. The G20 is very active. Now, you know the G20 leadership to India has come through rotation. There is a process by which comes. But it has been, has been made at a great opportunity to be a chair of a group of influential 20 countries is one thing. But to turn that opportunity into a movement to showcase India and to galvanize India is another. If G20 leadership, if it were before, earlier, the way we have held CHOGM, Commonwealth heads of missions and all this small, we have held in the past. It used to be an MEA-driven, external affair, ministry-driven affair. There will be conference, summit, come to Delhi, come to Bombay, come to Goa. Now, G20 is being held in all the states of the country. And there is a total involvement. There is a youth, women, entrepreneurs, all segments are associated. so that awareness is being created. That here is, suppose, even in Tamil Nadu, we had 3 venues for G20. Chennai, Mahabalipuram and Coimbatore. All the places, when the events are held, you will find women entrepreneurs will also be coming on the sidelines and talking to them. They will be telling about how the women of these areas are doing, what great things are being done, good things are being done. Youth will be coming and interacting with them. How aspirational. We will showcase our strength, our art, our culture, our agriculture, our science, technology, all these things. So that when the delegates, they go back to their countries, they go back with an impression of India. Because international reputation, impression of India is, traditionally it has not been good. Reality is different. So now, even G20 has been made into a, what is Prime Minister called it? Jan Andolan, a mass movement. You know, every segment of the society, there is the farmers vertical, where the farmers would be meeting the G20 leaders on the sideline. Look, this is how the farmers are doing in this country, whichever location they do. So there is a fundamental change in the way this international event is being organized in the country. It is not 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or half a dozen meetings. It is more than 220 meetings will be held all over the country, involving our people, all sections of the people, students, youth, entrepreneurs, women, art, culture, farmers, MSME, all will be coming and participating in this. Now, energizing the country, because we are expecting more than 100,000 delegates coming from all these countries. When they come, in the process, we will also get energized. When all the sections are asked that you are going to interact with G20, okay, Coimbatore, women entrepreneurs, all that they are doing, they will also get active, they will also consciousness, they become conscious, they will work it. Similarly, other fields, they will meet them, they will come back with we will also get energized. International perception also will change about this country. That look, well, we didn't know about it. Because what do they know about India? They know about India what comes in the newspaper, what comes in on the television, what has been written in the books. But the books written on India are old books essentially, are not necessarily very charitable. They depict India as still as one of those third countries and all. It is not the case. Today the world looks at India with an expectation of leadership to solve the global crisis. Let us say the climate crisis. The whole country looks at India as a model. How the daring steps India has taken to free itself from the fossil fuel energy. They are moving forward. Not only that. Again, as I said, our value system. What is the motto of G20? Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. This is the motto of one world, one earth, one family, one future. This is our value. This very crisply, succinctly represents India's foreign policy. We look at this. So you need to be familiar with these current developments, current affairs. I wish you all, you guys, the very best. Keep yourself cool, collected. Take deep breath, do pranayam. Convince yourself that you are among the best in the country. You have, after a long process of screening, you have been selected. It is an opportunity, you give your best. Don't get, you will get, wet arms and cold feet. Develop that. Convince yourself, and remember that the person sitting across the table is also a lesser mortal, is not someone who is coming from some other planet. I am sure many of you will make it, and by any chance, some of you, if you don't get disheartened, try again. Don't let, we are not talking about any failure today. There is no question of talking about it. Meet this board with a confidence, not arrogance. Arrogance is body language. With humility, face it. It's a test of your personality. Okay? All the best. See you. And once we will also have a felicitation ceremony for or an event with those of you who have made it. We will meet once again in this Darbar. Let the result come. Okay, thank you very much.